Hello everyone, welcome to Eye on Africa. Here are the headlines for Wednesday, December 23rd. France sends warplanes for a flyover mission in the Central African Republic as President Emmanuel Macron says it condemns attempts to disrupt this upcoming weekend's elections. Meanwhile, our correspondents take a look at the 15,000 students in the country who are attempted to get out of poverty through education. And a true David and Goliath story. Cocoa growers in Ghana and the Ivory Coast succeed in pushing American chocolate giant Hershey to pay them a fair rate for their cocoa beans. We begin, though, with news out of Ethiopia, where more than 100 people have been killed in an attack in the western part of the country. That is according to the Ethiopian Human Rights Commission. In a separate report, the Amhara mass media agency cited witnesses who say the attack occurred early this Wednesday in the Benishangul-Gumuz region. The ethnic violence is separate from the deadly conflict in the Tigray region. Tensions between the more than 80 ethnic groups in Ethiopia are a major challenge for the government, which is trying to promote national unity. We'll bring you more on this story as we get it. French President Emmanuel Macron has sent warplanes on a mission to fly over the Central African Republic in a move that aims to condemn attempts to destabilize the country. The three planes took off from a French airbase in Chad and returned approximately 4 hours later. The mission was given the go-ahead after a green light from both CAR President Faustin Archange Touadéra and the local UN mission. Earlier on Wednesday, Macron also published a statement saying the country condemns attempts by armed groups as well as political leaders, including former President François Bozizé, to prevent this Sunday's election from going ahead peacefully. Meanwhile, the country saw more violent incidents this Wednesday. France 24's Clément Di Roma has more from Bangui.
Scenes of a panic were observed today in Bangui following rumors of infiltration by armed groups in several neighborhoods. Here, everyone seems worried of what's to come. Fighting is still going on in some regions close to Bangui, and people wonder what will happen this weekend when it's time to go out and vote. The MINUSCA assures today that the city is under the peacekeepers' control and that they are prepared for attacks.
Avec l'approche des élections, on a renforcé notre dispositif. On a mis en œuvre nos plans de défense de manière à sécuriser la ville en permanence, tout en suivant l'évolution de la situation d'ici l'organisation des élections.
Tensions are still high in the region. Fighting resumed on Tuesday around the city of Bambari, one of the biggest in the country. Armed groups conquered part of the town before being pushed back by the National Army and the UN troops. On Wednesday, near the town of Bouali, 50 kilometers north of the capital, the armed groups part of the Coalition of Patriots for Change led more attacks against the national forces. Their objective is to stop the elections and take control of the main axis to conquer the capital if negotiation talks are not organized quickly. The government and the international community want to maintain the ballot this weekend and are saying that a transition period is not desirable. But on the opposition side, however, the coalition has suspended its campaign activities and now calls for the postponement of the elections.
At the University of Bangui, some 15,000 students are hoping for a better future after years of civil war. They often live on campus in difficult conditions and struggle to pay their bills. Over half of the population in the Central African Republic lives in poverty, and getting an education is a way out for many. Our correspondents have this report.
Like every morning, the students at the University of Bangui are preparing their merchandise, water that is sold in small plastic bags.
Ça, il va faire 3 jours comme ça devient glacé et puis ils vendent ça à 50 francs, 50 francs.
That is less than €1 and 26-year-old geology student Emmanuel Yassa hopes to make €10 a month to pay for the room he shares with 3 other students.
Les contenus de la maison, c'est des choses archaïques.
Despite the hardships, Emmanuel is determined to succeed and get a degree. The only hope for a better future in the Central African Republic.
Si vous n'avez pas de volonté, vous ne pouvez pas venir ici étudier. Il y a aussi des peines dont la souffrance que nous sommes en train de souffrir, mais je ne vois pas ça.
The University of Bangui is the only higher education institution in the country. It was created in 1969 to accommodate 500 students. Today, 15 people are enrolled. Many abandon their studies because they cannot afford tuition or lack job opportunities. 25-year-old Galina has been relying on odd jobs since she graduated. She hopes to pursue a master's degree later on.
If I don't have the means, I will look for a job first and maybe do my master's later.
She is one of many looking for a brighter future, a challenge for young Central Africans in a country where 70% of the population lives below the poverty line.
Let's take a look now at a few other stories making headlines today. The party of former Ivorian President Laurent Gbagbo is ending a decade-long boycott of elections. The Ivorian Popular Front says it will be taking part in the next legislative elections, which are set to take place in the first quarter of 2021. The country has made several moves recently to put an end to a prolonged political crisis, which began when President Alassane Ouattara sought a third term as leader. All major opposition candidates boycotted that vote, which led to Ouattara winning by a landslide. A 9-month strike by university lecturers in Nigeria is coming to an end. A union representing lecturers in the country has told the BBC that the strike is suspended following concrete agreements with the federal government. Lecturers will return to universities as of Thursday. The union has been putting pressure on the government to enforce a 2009 agreement, which had promised an increase in lecturers' pay and more equipment for universities. Tunisia is extending a nationwide curfew to January 15th as the country continues to see high numbers of COVID-19 cases. Health Minister Fawzi Mehdi is blaming the infections on growing complacency toward masks and social distancing. Authorities are also urging people not to hold end-of-year celebrations and to refrain from traveling across the country. In the run-up to Christmas, the ultimate stuffing filler and stomach stuffer is chocolate, but the supply chain that brings chocolate bars to your local supermarket is murky, and many farmers growing cocoa beans live a life of poverty. In a David and Goliath story earlier this month, cocoa growers in Ghana and the Ivory Coast triumphed over American chocolate brand Hershey after both industry bodies published an open letter saying the company was underpaying its suppliers, prompting the American giant to pledge to pay over €300 above market rates. Camille Nedelec and Harold Girard have the story.
Money doesn't grow on trees, especially if you're a cocoa grower eking out a living on razor-thin margins. Ghana and Ivory Coast, the world's two main producers of cocoa beans, tried to change that by turning to the court of public opinion with an open letter denouncing the American chocolate company Hershey. Both national industry bodies said that the firm had failed to pay a premium worth around €300 per tonne to its producers, as stipulated by law. The money is meant to boost farmer incomes. The chocolatier denies this. The industry association stripped the brand of its sustainability certifications, and just days later, Hershey pledged to pay the premium. But farmers say that extra cash provides them with just the bare minimum.
The cocoa farming is very hard work, and it involves in a lot of expensive labor costs, farm maintenance, buying chemicals. There are a lot of things that go into it. So the price they are giving now, that's 660 to us. It's just small. We want more than that. So if somebody is buying less than that, then that person is killing us. We want higher price than this.
Some farmers are so disillusioned, they've decided to stop growing cocoa altogether. Though the global chocolate industry is worth almost €100 billion, most cocoa growers in Ghana and Ivory Coast live below the poverty line.
Before we leave you, a programming note. Join us Thursday and Friday for 2 special editions of Eye on Africa. On Thursday, we will be looking back at what has been a tumultuous year for many of us and looking ahead at what we can expect in 2021. And on Friday, Christmas Day, we will be focusing on the good news of 2020 from across Africa, the feel-good stories that made this year a little bit easier to stomach. This Thursday and Friday at 8:45 and 9:45 p.m. GMT, as you can see there, 9:45 and again at 10:45 Paris time. We hope you can join us then.